You know, I really wonder about myself sometimes, and it's slightly worrying. Like, today, I've been feeling really dizzy and kind of just lightheaded all day, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? Literally gonna die. What is wrong with me? So I tell my mum when I get home from school, and she's like, you're probably dehydrated. That's like one of the symptoms of just dehydration. And I'm like, I spent my whole day freaking out about it. God's sake, Kaylee, you're not stupid. You know that. Thing number 2. Today in English, I was sitting at my desk singing Another Love in my head. And I only really know a little bit of it because I can't go through the whole song because I haven't listened to it that much because I'm not that sad. I'm sorry if I offended you. Anyway, so I was singing that in my head. And then, you know when you don't know the rest of a tune, so you just start singing another tune that sounds the same to the tune you're singing? Well, I didn't even do that. I started singing the flipping Angry Birds theme tune. And I think to myself, and I'm like, how, what? Okay, thing number 3. One night, I could wake up randomly in the middle of the night, and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm never going to sleep well again. No, you just woke up randomly one night, Kaylee. It's not the end of the world. Get over yourself. And then I'll also do really stupid stuff and then complain about it like it's someone else's fault. Like, no, you did it. Like, I don't know, go into the shower with gold jewellery on and then complain when it comes out brown. Or try to capture a spider in your cup that's on your wall one night, and then as soon as you capture it in the cup, you drop the cup, and then it scurries off into your bed somewhere, and then you're like, oh no, that's so annoying. It's like, why'd you drop the cup then? Also, you know how one of my videos went viral a while ago because I was complaining about teachers? Well, I've got another one for you. I got a letter sent to me last night saying that teachers are going to be checking skirts every single day to make sure they're not rolled up. I roll my skirt up in school because I don't want to look like a bloody year 7. And the new skirts that my mum bought me this year literally go down to my blinking ankles. Right, but what the actual hell is going on with British weather at the moment? Like, I wake up and it's a beautiful sunny morning. I go downstairs, have my breakfast, and it starts raining. And you're like, well, gonna have to bring my brolly to school then, aren't I? You're on your way to school and all of a sudden it's sunny again. You're like, oh, that's really weird. I didn't even need my brolly. You get into school. It starts raining again. Oh, great. Rain again. Glad I bought my brolly. And then, halfway through the day, it's misty. It's like, why is it misty? Oh, well. And then it's the end of the day. Starts raining again. Oh, well, got my brolly. I'll be fine. You get home and it starts bloody snowing. Like, what? And you're thinking, well, I'm not going outside. It's snowing. So you go upstairs, you sit down, and it's sunny again. So you think, oh, let's go out on my trampoline. Why not? It's sunny, it'll be warm, you know. You go outside and it starts, like, snowing again. And then it's sunny again, and it's snowing again. And then it's sunny again, and then it's snowing again. Like, is it just me? Last night I got woken up at 2:30 in the morning because there was horrendous winds. Like, terrifying winds. Making me think that my house is going to lift off the ground like Dorothy from, what's it called? Wizard of Oz. Like, what? You know how when you're typing on your phone, if you, like, type certain words, then an emoji appears? It can't just be me who memorizes the words that make emojis show up. So when I'm texting, I'll just write a random word, and then the emoji will come up, instead of having to go into the emoji library and actually finding it. Like, it can't just be me. So I could be texting someone, I could be like, I gotta go, and then just write run, and then the emoji will come up. I'll tap on the emoji and it'll be like a running emoji. I also like, if there's a certain emoji that I want to get into my recents, I just go onto notes and I just spam it, like the emoji, like a million times, and then it goes into my recents, you know, life hacks. This video is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, and now I don't know what to do for the next, 10 seconds.
Hi, my name is Caroline. And from the day I was born, Mom has thought of me as a nuisance. No matter how hard I try to please her, I just always end up doing the wrong thing. You see, I was always clumsy, and I'd been causing minor disasters around the house even since I was born. Like one time when I was 2 years old, I climbed onto the bookshelf to take down a book and somehow managed to bring the whole thing down. Mom and Dad were freaked. They fired my nanny then, and since Dad was always away, Mom had to quit her job to look after me full time. I think that's when she started hating me. She thought everything I ever did was wrong. On my 6th birthday, she said to her friends, "She's so annoying that she chose to come out in the middle of my pedicure. I had to go to the hospital with half my nails painted. Can you imagine? So annoying." I was so embarrassed that I tried to run out of the room, only to run smack into my cake. I sat in a pile of cake and felt so embarrassed, and Mom looked so annoyed that I did the stupidest thing on the planet. I ate a fistful of cake and said, "Yum, chocolate." Everyone just laughed harder, and someone said I was an idiot. Turns out, it was Mom. Later that night, I heard Mom on the phone with her friend, and she was crying like a baby. I just miss the good old days. I had a life. I felt so bad. I decided to surprise her with something awesome. I took a screwdriver and ran to the garage. I started to draw with it on the car. I made a whole scene with me and Mom in our house. She was gonna love it. I excitedly nudged her awake from her nap and led her to the garage. But I was so shocked when she went totally ballistic on me. "You're so dumb, Caroline. Your birthdays for the next 5 years are canceled." And it doesn't get any better from here. You see, I grew up really insecure about my looks around Mom. She was beautiful herself, and her snarky comments always made me feel ugly. She'd say things like, "Your nose is just like your father's mother's," or "You really can't pull off that pink color," or "Do you really need to eat chocolate?" But one time when I was in the 7th grade, she had some friends over, and I heard her say it loud and clear. "I just wish my daughter was beautiful like me." I ran off to my room and stared at myself in the mirror. The only thing I had in common with her was my long black hair. I decided I would never cut it, but Mom was right. I was ugly. I was so upset with my reflection that I threw a shoe at the mirror, and it broke. Mom heard the noise and came running to my room. "What'd you do now? Clean that up." The next few years went by like that. Dad was a constant no-show most of the time. He sent money and gifts to make up for it, though, and Mom insisted I needed to be a different person, while I had found a brilliant new hobby. You see, the day before my 16th birthday, I had found a gorgeous old set of sculpting tools in the attic. I didn't even bother asking Mom whose they were because I was afraid she might make me throw them out. Just then, Mom knocked on the door. She said she'd bought me a dress to wear on my birthday the next day, but to no one's surprise, it turned out to be the wrong size. I tried really hard to fit into it, but I just couldn't. "Why did you buy me such a small dress, Mom?" "To push you to eat fewer cookies and more veggies. The way you're eating, you're never gonna fit into anything nice." "But Mom, clothes are supposed to fit you. You aren't supposed to fit them. If you'd gotten me the right size, I would have looked just fine." "Just fine isn't the same as beautiful, Caroline. That's chubby girl talk." I was so angry with her and disappointed that I had nothing nice to wear, so I just canceled my birthday party and shut myself up in my room, blasting away loud music and doodling furiously in my art pad. A few hours later, I heard a knock at the door. Mom banged on the door saying Dad's gifts were here. After she left, I opened the door and pulled my gift inside. To my surprise, it was a fancy new set of sculpting tools and clay. He'd remembered. Over the next few weeks, I ended up turning my room into my studio. I started sculpting every day. I started to get obsessed. Cars, people, horses, toy, everything. I even started doing it at school. One day, as I was rushing from class to the art room, I bumped into someone and all the miniature sculptures in my bag fell out and scattered everywhere. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." "No, it's okay. Just help me." I looked up and saw the school's basketball captain, Ron. I'd had a crush on him for a while, but he didn't even know I existed. And now he was helping me pick up my scattered miniatures. Suddenly, Ron looked at my work and let out a whistle.
"Don't tell me you made these. They're brilliant."
"I'm pretty sure I'm very capable of making something brilliant, Ron."
No, of course. I meant you're really good. My aunt's a sculptor, and I just know she'd love your work.
Then he invited me to his home after school. I could not believe my ears. Ron's aunt was crazy talented, and she did seem really impressed with my work. Before I knew it, we had become friends. Not just us, but Ron too. I started hanging out more and more often at his place and sculpting in his aunt's studio. Before I knew it, we had become great friends, and my crush was back. One day while I was at Ron's place, his aunt showed me a poster of the sculpting contest, and wow! The prize was a scholarship to study art at the university. Ron said,
If anyone can win it, it's you.
The way he said it gave me butterflies, and I decided I'd give it my best. I came back home thrilled, and I told my mom about my project, but Mom was anything but impressed.
A sculptor? I was hoping you'd become a doctor, a lawyer, or something that won't make you starve. Actually, on second thoughts, maybe that's not such a bad thing.
I tried to not let her get to me, but she made me so mad. I shut myself up for the weekend and sculpted with such passion that I dirtied the floor and sent clay water splattering onto the walls. I wouldn't even go down to eat with her. I just ordered pizzas and had the delivery boy hand them to me through my window. A few days later, as I was leaving for school, she barged in and was beyond furious. She completely ignored my beautiful pieces and only looked around at the mess with crazy eyes. What are you, a cave woman?
You're not going anywhere till you clean this garbage dump.
I'll clean it up, Mom. But why do you always see the ugly side of everything? Don't you have anything nice to say about my art? I couldn't care less about your stupid art. And with that, she walked away. I was so furious, I decided to do the only thing I knew would really get to her. I decided to cut all my long black hair and dye it. It was the only thing my mother and I had that was similar, and now I was different. When she saw me with bright blue short hair, she dropped the plate she was holding and simply said,
"Ah, completely ugly now."
I started spending as much time away from home, returning late and not answering my mom's calls. I spent most of my time at Ron's house working on my sculpture of Grace O'Malley, a fierce Irish pirate. She was such an iconic woman. One day when I returned home, I couldn't find my sculpture anywhere. So I asked Mom, and she casually said,
"Your room looked like a dump, so I threw away everything."
You what? Mom, I spent weeks on it. The competition is just 4 days away.
I told you to clean up your mess. I couldn't tell the art from the trash.
I was horrified and did the only thing that made sense. I turned around and ran out of my home. That night it was freezing outside and I didn't know where to go. I started crying, sitting on the street. Suddenly a car approached me. It was Ron. He said, since I hadn't shown up at his place when I was supposed to, he thought I might be in trouble. When I told him I'd left my house, he said I could stay at his place as long as I wanted. The next 3 days were crazy. I skipped school and worked on my sculpture all day long. I blocked Mom's number because she wouldn't stop calling to yell at me. But the day before the art contest, someone knocked at Ron's door. It was Dad. He wanted me to go home to Mom. Are you coming?
No, honey. I have to catch a flight in 30 minutes. Now, hurry up.
Forget it, Dad. I'm tired of how you and Mom have been. You're literally never there in my life. And Mom just hates me so much. I'm not going back to her.
She doesn't hate you. She loves you.
Yeah, of course. Now go, Dad. I don't need you either. I have other friends who can be there for me when I need it. With that, I slammed the door in his face. On the day of the art contest, I was very anxious. I tried to look around and find some familiar faces, but none were there for me. I looked at other people's art pieces, and I suddenly felt they were all better than mine. I wanted to go away. I took my small little statue and ran out of the exhibition crying. But at the door, I found Dad. He took one look at me and smiled. You came? How?
No one else gets to be my daughter's best friend and biggest support. Now tell me, you weren't running away, were you?
My work is really bad, Dad. It's not good.
Why don't you let the judges decide?
He led me back inside, and long story short, 2 hours later, I walked out with the first prize, 100% scholarship to my dream university. Just as I was about to leave the gallery, I saw something that surprised me. Mom was walking away from the far end of the crowd. I couldn't believe she'd come to see me tank, and now that I'd done well, she was just walking away? Well, she could do whatever. I was going to start college anyway. I started art school and started dating Ron, who asked me to be his girlfriend the day we graduated high school. After I finished college, Ron and I decided to buy a small gallery for me. I found a gorgeous little place, and the very first day, we found a lovely little sculpture tucked away in its storage. The real shocker, though, was that it looked very familiar. The gallery owner said, "Oh, it's just been collecting dust for 20 years. The artist was not very successful. Then she stopped working when she had a kid. This was her last piece. She called it Baby Caroline." I was stunned for a second when I realized why it was so familiar. The baby was wearing a necklace exactly like mine. My mom made this. I told the owner I was keeping it and wrapped it up. On Christmas that year, I took the sculpture and decided to see Mom. As soon as she saw it, she burst into tears and said, "I'm so sorry. I'm a horrible mother, aren't I?" She said she'd gotten jealous when she saw me sculpt. "I gave up my career for you, and you were so good. I got so upset. I'm so sorry." As angry and hurt as I was, I knew that Mom had given up a lot for me, so I hugged her and showed her my second gift, the old sculpting tools I'd found in the attic years ago. She cried as she held them. They were hers. Well, now the two of us often sculpt together in my studio, except we have a third edition, my little girl Maria. Hi, I'm Rachel from Pennsylvania, and I'm Amish. Please like and subscribe. The Amish community believes in a simpler lifestyle than the rest of the modern world, and this is reflected in our clothes and our simple ways of living. Some of us don't even have cell phones in the 21st century, including me. But I was always curious about the world and wanted to experience everything. Once when I was 5, I found a lost doll on my way to school, and in our culture, dolls aren't supposed to have faces, but this one did. I was thrilled to find it and took it to school with me. But as soon as I took it out of my bag, the kids screamed.
OMG, a doll with a face! Where did you get this thing from? I guess it belongs to some tourist who must have visited the area and... So you stole it from her?
No, she forgot, and just then the teacher came running. She took the doll from my hands and tossed it into the dustbin. But I wasn't giving up so easily. After school, I snuck into the classroom and took the doll out of the bin. And then I heard the teacher's voice. "What do you think you're doing?" The teacher took me to the principal, and soon the news spread across the town that I was evil. But my parents didn't care.
I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. I caused you trouble.
Oh, it's okay, honey. We know that you're a good girl who is just curious about things. You don't have to be sorry about anything, love. And then she hugged me real tight, but no one else liked me after that. Not much changed until I turned 16, and then it got worse, because this was the age that girls in the community started getting married, and I didn't want to. I was confident no one would ask for my hand in marriage since everyone thought I was evil, but to my horror, it happened. One day I had some guests over and my parents told me, "Oh dear, Jim has decided that he wants to marry you, and even we think you both are a great match. So, what do you say?" Say? I didn't know what to say. I pulled the guy aside and asked him to say no. "No, I can't do that." "What? Are you crazy? They'll get us married if you don't." "That's what I want, Rachel. I've been in love with you ever since I saw you, and Rachel, stop. Please listen to me." He was a sore loser, and I didn't want to marry someone like him. I tried to talk to my parents, but they said it was for the best. Really? Now I had no option but to run away. I left home and kept running until I reached the main road, and there I saw a bus approaching me. The bus stopped and some kids got down, and that's when I saw the most shocking thing. A girl just like me was standing right in front of me. What the freaking pigeon? She looked just as shocked and walked towards me. "Wow, you look just like me. That's so amazing. I'm Lindsay. What's your name?" "I'm Rachel." "Well, Rachel, your clothes? They look so cool. Where did you get them from?" I don't know why, but I told her my entire life story. And suddenly, Lindsay smiled at me and told me this crazy idea. "Rachel, do you want to trade places with me?" "What?" "Well, I want to see your community, and maybe I'll get some time off my stupid life, and you get to live the life you want out there." Well, I was speechless. I was really scared to do it, but when I thought about the marriage proposal waiting for me at home, I said yes. Rachel and I exchanged our clothes, and it felt so different. All these colors on my body were crazy. Suddenly, the bus honked, and Lindsay told me to get on it. She hugged me and said goodbye and ran back towards the direction I pointed her to. I got on the bus, and it was all so weird. All the kids were calling me Lindy, and she seemed to be a super popular girl. But then suddenly, a girl came to me and slapped my face really hard. What the heck? This is the last time you kiss my boyfriend. You hear me? Her what? I was in shock. I'd never kissed anyone. But then I realized probably Lindsay did. I didn't know what to do, so I just went to the back and sat there. When we reached the school, a lady standing by a car waved at me.
Lindsay, how dare you go on this trip without informing me? And why are all your teachers telling me you're a brat? That's enough. Not another word from you. I'm taking away your phone, young lady.
My phone? I don't have a phone. Lindsay probably took it with her, and her mom looked furious now. She asked me to get into the car, and just as we reached home, she said,
"You sneaked out when you were grounded, and now I'm extending your punishment. You're not leaving this house for another week."
OMG, this was like back to where I started from. Lindsay's mom sent me to her room, which was mine now. And this room was full of things I'd never seen in my life. A TV, a computer, a closet full of colorful clothes. This place was heaven. And then I jumped onto her super soft bed and fell asleep. Suddenly, I felt like I was kissing someone in my dream. But I screamed my lungs out when I realized it wasn't a dream. There was a boy in my room kissing me. He tried to hush me and said in a low whisper,
"Why are you screaming? It's me, Toby, your boyfriend."
Boyfriend? Lindsay betrayed her boyfriend and kissed some other guy? She was really something. Suddenly, he came closer, and I could even see in the dark how handsome he was. But what are you doing here this late?
I come here every day ever since you've been grounded, remember? What's wrong with you, babe?
He touched my forehead so gently, I couldn't help but melt a little. Then he took out a beautiful necklace from his pocket.
I bought this to mark our first month together. Shall I put it on you?
He was doing all this for Lindsay, who betrayed him for some other guy? For a moment, I started to hate her. I decided I was going to tell him that I wasn't Lindsay. But just then, I heard her mom walking upstairs.
Lindsay, I heard some noises. Are you okay?
Toby and I looked at each other, super scared, but he quickly ran out of the window, and both of our butts were saved.
Were you talking to someone?
No, of course not. I don't even have my phone on me. I left it on the field trip, remember? She looked at me suspiciously and then went away. A few days passed, and I was just stuck at home. All thanks to Lindsay, the brat. But thank God for Toby, who visited me every day, and every time I wanted to tell him the truth. But I was afraid he'd get mad and stop seeing me. One night when he dropped by, he got up to leave after 20 minutes. I asked him why, and he said,
"Babe, I play volleyball at the beach every Saturday night, remember?"
"The freaking beach?" I leapt up excitedly and said I wanted to go with him. He looked really surprised.
"But you hate the beach, and the sand, and volleyball. And you also hate my friends and never want to hang out with them?"
Wow, what was wrong with Lindsay? Oh, I guess I've just been cooped up for so long. I really just want to go out. He looked super happy, and we both snuck out the window. I had to stop myself from gasping when I saw the sea for the first time. It was so beautiful. I had an amazing time with his friends, and after his game, we took a moonlit walk on the beach. I closed my eyes to feel the wind in my hair, and when I opened them, I saw Toby looking at me curiously. He stopped and took my hand.
"Lindsay, I don't know what it is, but something about you has changed. You're enjoying all these things you never do with me, and you even look different. I haven't seen you much without makeup, and I have to say, you're even prettier this way."
And with that, he pulled me in close and kissed me. And I just couldn't help kissing him back, even though I felt so guilty. I'd been so caught up with Toby, I hadn't even thought that much about Lindsay, and I decided to check up on her. I sneaked into her mom's bedroom one evening and took her cell phone. I found Lindsay's contact there and called her, but she just cut my call. I tried again, and she kept rejecting it. Ugh, this girl. Then I sent her a text message saying it was me, Rachel, and then she replied with a picture. What? No, this girl was insane. Suddenly, I turned around to find Lindsay's mom standing right behind me.
You're not Lindsay, are you?
What? How did she know that? Suddenly, she put her hands around my face.
You guys look so alike. I can't even tell you apart.
What are you talking about? Do you know who I am? And who are you?
My name is Sabrina. I grew up in an Amish community, but I never felt connected to anyone in it except for my sister, your mother.
She was my mom's sister?
At the age of 20, I got pregnant with twins, and I knew my sister could never have any children. So before leaving town, I gave you to her.
Wait, what? So you're my mother?
Yes, but that doesn't mean my sister isn't. She loves you more than me, I'm sure.
Well, of course she does. She didn't leave me like you did. And you're a terrible woman. I can't believe you abandoned me and thought of only yourself. I hate you. I just got up and ran out of there like crazy. It was raining heavily and I kept running until I bumped into someone. Toby.
Lindsay, are you okay? What happened?
I was so out of breath, I couldn't speak. I started to cry, and Toby hugged me tight and took me to his home. After some time, he gave me some hot chocolate to drink, and while I was drying myself by the fireplace, Toby came and hugged me from behind.
Lindsay, it's okay if you don't want to tell me anything, but I want you to know that I'm falling in...
Toby, stop! I turned around and he looked confused.
Is everything okay?
No, it's not. I'm not Lindsay. I told him everything about the switch and even that Lindsay cheated on him. You're a good guy, Toby, and you deserve so much better. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. Toby stood there stunned. I hugged him tight and left. It was almost dawn and I decided I was gonna go back and stop Lindsay from ruining her life. But just then a car stopped in front of me and Sabrina jumped out. Rachel, there isn't a day that I haven't thought about you. It was really tough for me, but I don't regret what I did. My sister is a very good human being and she deserved happiness. And you, tell me, would you give her up as your mother? Suddenly, I realized that she was right. My mother was amazing, and I was so wrong to leave her like that. I turned to Sabrina. We have to leave now. Lindsay is getting married. She drove with the speed of light, and when we got to the farm, I ran to my house, and there, I saw Lindsay kissing Jim in the front yard. Lindsay, stop! Are you crazy? Jim looked at me like he'd seen a ghost and ran away like crazy.
Everyone was right. You're a witch. A witch!
What are you doing here? And Mom, I swear I didn't do it. It was Rachel's idea to switch places. No, it wasn't. You've got to stop with these lies and stupid things that you do. I can't believe we're sisters. We're what? Sabrina told her everything as she stood there in complete disbelief. Just then, Mom came out and hugged Sabrina. Oh, sis, it's been so long. I missed you so much. And then she turned to me and pulled me close. Rachel, my child, I heard everything and I'm so sorry, honey. I should have told you that I'm not your mom. No, you are. You are my mom and I love you. I shouldn't have fled without telling you. I like my life with you and Dad, but Mom, I just wanted to see more. You were always a curious one. Sweetheart, if that's what you want to do, you can have it. And there will always be a home for you here to come back to. As I hugged Mom tight, suddenly Lindsay let out a loud squeal. OMG, Toby, baby, what are you doing here? Did you come all this way for me? He gently pushed her aside.
No, I didn't, Lindsay. We're over. You can kiss or marry whoever you want.
He pulled me to the side and said,
I came here for you. You didn't let me finish my sentence earlier. I wanted to tell you that I'm falling in love with you. With you, Rachel. And if you're moving to the city, I'd love to ask you out on a proper date.
I'd really like that. And I love you too, Toby.